Well, hey, Tiffany. This is Dr. Hardy, and we're about ready to start your independent study of Survey of Calculus. First thing I want to point out, too, is I gave you a hurried up syllabus to attach to the plan. I made a couple of changes, and I hope they are okay. One of them, most important one, is the weighting of the grade a little bit different. There's been the addition of this study plan. And that's a tool that I'm hoping will help kind of guide your study rather than just saying, oh, it's 50% tests. It'll guide your study through this. And that's the main objective of this video is going to be to go through how you access that study plan, how you score points in it. And then the others, we have these dates of the exams, including in a final exam. It says it'll be held in the final exam week schedule. We'll have to arrange that probably. Okay, we'll have to arrange that date. So those are the main things. The other thing changed is college policies. All the old deadlines in your paper syllabus are actually from 2009. So these are the current semester 2013 deadlines. Hopefully you don't actually have to use them, but there they are. Okay, so in addition to those tests, most of the actual study you'll do will be by going through this thing called the study plan. Now you go down in eCollege, down the bar on the left-hand side, and you'll see this thing called MML Study Plan. We click there to get to it. And then we click on this study plan link that shows up, and that takes us to the My Math Lab program and your study plan. And so what it is, it's basically a list of topics that you have to master. There's 148 of them, so about 10 per week or so for the rest of the semester is what you'll want to do, 10 topics per week. And you'll see each section of a book has several topics in it. So it's about like our pace we discussed of having about 4 sections a week, 2 to 4 sections a week, kind of depending on where you're at. So what you do, what I suggest doing, particularly important in these early kind of review sections, is try a quiz me first. It's kind of strange to do a quiz before you've had any instruction, but I'm guessing you already know how to solve, for example, linear equations. So we do a quiz me, and that's going to end up being one way we can score a mastery point for that particular objective. So we set up, say I'm going to start, and we get to this here, and we end up with this here, and I'm just doing it in my head to see if I can do this in my head. We end up with 32x minus 54 equals 394. 32x equals 438. 32x, so let's just go to a calculator because I can't do that in my head. And so I have 438 dividing by 32 equals 13.6875. So that's what I'm going to be. So simplify your answer, type an integer or a fraction. Oh shoot. So we don't want the calculator version of that. We want 438 over 32. I'll just enter it. It'll probably be wrong to have it unsimplified. And you go to the next question. And this quiz will particular one will have 4 questions. So you set this up here, and this becomes 5x or 6x minus 5x over 30, or 1x over 30 equals 7/6. 210 over 6 is equal to x, and therefore, I would say 35 is the simplified version of that. And we just keep on going through here. X over 6 equals negative 3/12. X equals negative 18/12, or negative 3/2. And so we just negative 3 over 2. And let's just submit it. And then finally, we have negative 2m equals negative 18. Therefore, m equals positive 9. And there's no more next questions. We hit the submit quiz button. Now, if we were good, oh wow, I got 3 out of 4 correct doing that in my head. But one wasn't because I was doing it in my head and I screwed something up. Oh, that's right, I didn't simplify it. So, that being the case, and since 100% is required for mastery, if I go back to the study plan, I still have to do some work on solve linear equations. So then I will go into practice. And you can practice some problems when you think you've got these problems down. We could even just do one of these practice problems and it will let you go back into quiz me again. So if I have 3m equals 12m equals 4, let's check my answer. Excellent. Of course, if you've taken math classes here, if say the college algebra here at MCC, you'll remember that in this version, the homework version of problems like we have on these practice problems, there's a few different helps here. For example, one is connect to a tutor. I've never tried that before, but I'd be interested to see how it is. So it's something you might try at some point if you get into a stuck. Ask my instructor simply emails me. Textbook, if you click on that, it will go to the section of the textbook that is relevant. In this case, it will go to this review section on linear equations and inequalities, and you can just flip through the textbook and read it like standard. Maybe that will jog your memory on how to do it. View an example is going to just walk you through step by step. It's not even going to force you to enter anything. It'll just show you and you can just read through. And often that just jogs the memory and say, okay, that makes sense. That's how it's done. Help me solve this will actually talk you through an answer. And at some point it will actually ask you to enter some things. Okay, so what subtraction should be subtracted from each side so that the m terms are on the left side of the equation. Well, if we want the m terms on the left side, you have to subtract 7m. And let's see if it likes that. Yes, it does. So it keeps on asking you what you've got here. So I've got, so on, I can go on to finish that. I'm just going to close it off. Okay. The last thing you remember is the similar exercise. So let's say you've gone through this, but maybe with a lot of help, you're not positive you know how to do it. Hit the similar exercise button. It's going to give you pretty much the same exercise, just different numbers. You can go back through and see if you can solve it again. You may just choose one or two of these exercises, see which interests you, or you could go through all 4. You don't have to go through all 4 to be able to have Quiz Me reopen to you. Now, getting points on Quiz Me is probably the main way to set up and fill out these options here. Another way, I don't know as well how much they need. Okay, each time you get a Quiz Me right, if you get the 100% on the Quiz Me, and it's a small quiz like that, you're going to earn one of those mastery points. And you're going to keep adding up, hopefully to get to 148 mastery points. You might be a little bit shy of that. That 15% of your grade that is based on the study plan is just going to be simply your percentage of mastery points. So whatever percentage of 148 mastering points you actually get. Again, what we're aiming for overall throughout the semester is about 10 of these mastery points a week, but be aware the mastery points in the early chapters might be a little easier, so we want to make sure to maybe go through about 4 sections a week. And so they might come quicker in the first weeks than later on. Okay, that's just a thought. All right, so there's the study plan. And then you get through the study plan and it will take you through, and every time you finish a chapter in the study plan, what there will be is a practice exam for you available. I haven't set that up yet, but I will when you go to quizzes and tests. Right now, there's nothing in there except for you can go down and see these pre-tests are available. But I will set up, that's another way, by the way, to get some of those mastery points is to just run through the pretest. If there's anything you know in there that you get 100% of the items on, they may give you credit for it, but I'm not positive that's how that works with these. Later on, you will see some assigned tests that actually are effectively practice tests for each of these chapters. And so just before you take the test, you make sure to repeat the chapter 1 practice test when that shows up till you get good at it, and then we will give you a real pencil and paper sit down version of that test and see how you do, and just ensure you can do it without the help. So each of those actual physical tests that you take in person will be worth, I believe, whatever the total of these will be 50%. So they'll wait out and they'll be weighted out, and then you'll have a total of 50% on your actual sit down tests. All right. There is no homework here. Homework is basically done by going through the study plan. Well, I hope this helps, and I hope this helps you get started. Why don't you try and knock off a few objectives, maybe even a section or two in the study plan, and see how it goes, and let me know. We can make adjustments.